Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. And I'm so excited we get to play with Maya Boston again. I'm so happy, and we always have so much fun, and there's always so much for us to talk about. We do have a topic for today, but we may go off topic because, I don't know, sometimes that's fun. But we're going to be talking about navigating the challenges of our current world. And so part of that, what is the purpose of the current situation on our planet right now? We're going to reassess, rebalance, reset, the 3 stages of this deeply transformative process. And is your ego holding you back? And we're going to find out how activating the divine union is activating your divine human template, and so much more. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be taking some live caller questions and a process of some sort during the call. And always, we love to talk, Maya and I. And so we encourage your feedback and your comments as well. So if you do have a question or a comment, please type in the chat, or you can raise your hand. And for those of you who don't know Maya, she has been on our show many times. She is an international light language channel and activator, a Gong practitioner, a speaker, and teacher in practice for over 13 years. She facilitates workshops around the world, and her work is focused on opening the heart and mind of humanity through sound, by using frequencies to change each listener's brainwave state, which touches the deepest parts of each individual's being and assists with overcoming long-held blocks, simultaneously creating a space into which the listener can expand into. And that's what it's all about. How can we expand our consciousness, our awareness to greater and greater aspects, areas, right? Beingness. And so I'm so glad that Maya is back with us today to talk to us, to share with us, and always, to open up our hearts to more. So Maya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alara. It's great to be back. And I always love spending time with you and your listeners. So I'm excited.
Me too. I'm so glad you're here. And, things are changing around the world for sure. In some places, things are getting calmer in one area, like the COVID-19. And in other places, things are becoming more chaotic because of all the violence, etc. So, yeah. I mean, it's like one thing hasn't even completely finished and we're starting into something else, right? And it's like so many of us are being distracted by and challenged by and triggered by all the events that are happening in the world at the moment. So, yeah, how can we navigate all of these challenges, points of view, chaos, energies, etc.?
Well, the short answer is go inward.
Yeah.
But I do have a long answer.
Awesome. Good.
So the purpose, and there is a purpose, and a few months back when this all started happening, and I started asking, what is going on our planet? The message that came through for me was, if you can tune into a whale, you can tune into a microbe. And so I just sort of sat there for a moment and thought, what? I can tune into a microbe? Oh yeah, of course I can. It's a living being. It's part of this planet, just like the rest of us. And it has a message for us. And so it's here to accelerate our ascension process by clearing out the old programs that we have on the planet. And I saw something the other day, sort of like a little cartoon, and it was like a time traveler stepping into a time machine, and his friend was saying to him, go anywhere but 2020.
Yeah.
Because we probably to compare to some other periods in history, it seems like this is, like you said, these are very challenging, chaotic, turbulent times. But isn't that all a reflection of what is actually going on inside of us? And as we're changing, our planet is changing. The planet, of course, has already shifted. Like the magnetics of the planet have shifted, and right down to the inner core of this planet. And so it's come to a point where it can assist us to release these old programs that we're holding on to. And so we're shifting as a humanity on a collective level and on the individual level. We're shifting at the core as well. And there was a few days ago, as I was going to sleep, the message came through: we have not experienced a shift of this magnitude since the fall of Atlantis.
Wow.
It's that intense.
Yeah.
And and I'm kind of seeing it like coming full circle, but on a different level, of course. But in Atlantis, we chose to de-evolve as a collective. We chose to de-evolve and go and experience the lower third dimensional frequencies. And now we're choosing to go on the ascension path. And we're coming up to where we were before the fall of Atlantis. So we're coming full circle, but on a different level. And that's a whole other topic again. But we've had many people, probably like you, yourself, and myself, and your listeners, Alara, who've been going through changes, deep changes for years now. We've been doing our work, right?
Yeah.
But there are many that are just starting to awaken now, just because they couldn't have awoken any other way except this way. And that's why the collective has agreed to this. And of course, there are those who are choosing to leave the planet, and that's all by soul agreement. And of course, there are those who are choosing to experience this in a very physical way and come out, the other end. So we're all in the deep end of this process and we've begun to integrate our separation. That's the difference between now and what happened at the fall of Atlantis, where we were going into more separation. Now we're calling back all the fragments of ourselves, because we've left lots of fragments of ourselves in different parts of the planet. And so we're calling back this to integrate these fragments that we've left separated out. So when we look at the world around us, the old systems are breaking down, and we think, oh, it's chaos. And this is a very feminine energy. This is a very feminine process, because the feminine is organic. So we're seeing the breakdown and the chaos, the lack of order, and it comes in waves. So we've had order, which is the masculine, and stability for a while, and now we're going into the feminine phase where everything's being rearranged. And then of course we'll settle down and we'll go back into a masculine phase where there'll be order again, but it'll be very different, a very different kind of order to what was before. So as everything's breaking down around us, of course, it's making way for our new systems. So we need to rise to see the bigger picture instead of getting caught up in the emotional backlog of what's going on around us. Everyone is part of the oneness, and everyone is working their piece of the puzzle in their own way to trigger us, because we're all triggering each other, so that we can get into a place from where we are creating change in our lives. So this is the work that the light workers are doing. And we all agreed to this on a collective level, and we all agreed to this on an individual level as part of our soul agreement, to be here at this particular point in human history and to play out the roles that we're playing out. And so because everyone comes from the oneness of all there is, even the duality, even the separation, even the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it comes from the wholeness, from the oneness. And as it separates out, like we did at the fall of Atlantis, now, as I said earlier, we're bringing this all back together, and we're coming back into the oneness. So this is all the healing. Everything's healing and coming back together into oneness. And because healing can't happen any other way. It's got to be an inside job. It's got to come from the inside out, not from the outside in. And this, and of course, the challenge that we are being presented with is that in this ascension process, we are moving towards embodying our higher aspects and our multidimensional aspects while we're still in physical form. So again, that separation between physical and spiritual is coming together as one into the wholeness of all there is.
And I think that's something that everybody wants to hear and needs to hear, but also at the same time, I think people want to know, how can we experience that more? How can we be aware of that, right? Because we've all, like you said, we've all done the work, right? We've all been working for so long. And I know for myself, the past couple of months and the past couple of weeks, there's like so many more ahas and epiphanies, and so much more clarity is coming forward about different things. And it's like, oh, I finally got it after so long, it's like, I finally got it, and so it's like, it feels really good. And I mean, and, I work on myself every day, right? Working means connecting within, being aware of the greater parts of me, not just my personality self, right? But the greater parts of me. But, for those of us, who may be newer to self-realization, self-awareness, right? Self-love even, and self-acceptance, can you give us a few little pointers of what that would look like? And I know it's going to be different for everybody.
Sure. And this is part of the process that I'm going to take everyone through. You mentioned at the beginning of the show a little process, so yeah. Sure. Well, would you want me to do the process now?
Oh no, it's too soon. No,
soon? Okay.
Let's continue to have the discussion, around this, but also, like some practical things that people can do, to, feel more ease during this time, to, to be aware of their triggers, right? And to be aware of sometimes when you are being triggered by something, that it is, a belief that's coming up for you to see. A lot of stuff that's coming up right now is for us to see and be aware of it, and then we can choose, oh, does this even work for me? Does this even make any sense? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I was holding on to this for so long, blah blah blah, and let it go, and then move into a new version of you, right?
And that's the purpose of this as well. And I've been saying it for a while now, and I think I talked about this particular topic the last time I was on your show, the self-love process. What is your self-love practice? How do you take care of yourself? How do you recharge your batteries? How do you fill your cup? All those sayings. So it is about taking time to go inward. That's really important each and every day, even if you only just do it once a day for 5-10 minutes. I'm sure everybody's got 5-10 minutes these days, and just going inward and assessing what is going on. How am I feeling about this? Is it true for me? All those kind of questions. So that's the I've called it the reassess, rebalance, and reset process. And, we have a lot of stuff coming up. It's literally like the underbelly of our society, those deepest, darkest parts of our soul are coming into the light for us to see and to assess, is this right for me? So does this serve me still, or is it something that I can let go? So we were given, this wonderful time to just be at home and to do this. So thank you. And, the first thing is to realize that it is safe to be in physical form, because so many of us through our past lives are feeling unsafe to be in physical form, or unsafe to come out and speak our truth. But it's now safer than ever to be in physical form on this planet and at this point in human history. And you are here to anchor the light and to raise your vibration. And just like, you know, when we get sick with the flu, you know, if we think about, I'm sure everybody has had that experience. You know, our body doesn't feel well. There's something going on, and then the body starts to assess the situation, and then it decides on a course of action to combat the intruder in the body, and then it puts the decision of the action, of what action to take, it puts that into action, and we end up with a temperature, and then it goes through the process and we get better. And the immune system is then reset and change is created, right? So we're going through this same process in the outside world. So the old world that was before the pandemic is no more. We cannot go back to that. The energy has shifted so much so that it does not exist anymore. And the energy does not support these old third dimensional constructs. So we've been given this time to reassess our lives, to work out a more balanced way of living. So a lot of people have been able to assess their work-life balance.
Right.
A lot of people have been spending a lot more time with family, and some would probably decide they'd like to do a lot more of that, and some would probably be deciding, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Lots of changes and lots of realizations and lots of new awarenesses, right? Because we've never been in this place before, right?
No, never.
So much is coming up. Yeah.
Sure. And how much time do we spend on ourselves? You know, and maybe some people are thinking about their personal values and reevaluating those. We've been given this opportunity to go within and to find out, is this true for me? You know, to gain clarity and strength, to reassess our resilience to a rapidly changing world around us, and to look at our lifestyles and determine where changes need to be made. So so that's the reassessing process that we've been doing. And then comes the rebalancing, which we've already started. And so we've started to do some of those things we've been telling ourselves we had no time for, and to finally commit to doing these things for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're starting to think about what do we want to do, and looking at the levels of, you know, people have been assessing their nutrition, you know, their diets, their exercise regimes. You know, we need to think about our water intake. You know, what fills your cup? What do you do to recharge your battery? And can you take that process to a deeper level, so that you can, when you need to, in this rapidly changing world, you can draw upon a deep well within yourself. So do you start your day with intention? You know, or do you just sort of get up wildly to, you know, an alarm clock and get going with your day? You know, maybe if we set the alarm and started the day 15 minutes earlier, and just took those 15 minutes to set intention, to breathe deeply, to think about joy and gratitude, and some self-love practice that we can do during the course of our day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we go into putting all of that into action. Yeah, so the release of the old programming and opening up to more awareness, more expanded consciousness and understanding of ourselves. And, you know, are you coming from a place of fear or love? You know, when you give into fear, of course, the fear is stopping us from reassessing our life, and it stops the whole process of what we were given this opportunity to do. But when we connect to the heart, and we take those, you know, 10, 15 minutes a day, then we start to discover our inner wisdom. And that's the place where we find refuge inward, not in the outward world. So then, you know, when we go inward, this is allowing us to respond to life rather than to react to life. It makes us more calm. we can think more clearly, and we can step into our lives from a place of love. So from
So,
this,
go ahead.
yeah.
I was just going to ask you, you know, a lot of times, you know, people may not really understand what love is, right? So what I've started doing for myself even is, like, you know, I've always been in the, you know, love and fear, right? There's love and there's fear, but sometimes we don't know what love means. So I've started switching love to just compassion, right? Come from compassion and share your compassion out into the world and to yourself, right? And that's just one quick, just a little thing, because a lot of people, when I was growing up, I didn't know what love was. You know, what is unconditional love? I don't know until I became a mother myself, right? Then I understood what it was, right? And but before that, I really didn't, you know. And for a long time, you know, I didn't love anybody other than my children. Yeah, I also didn't love myself. Okay, so right, so and at that time I even said, okay, I'm not feeling love anywhere. I don't know, except for my kids. I know I love my kids. I know I love my kids, right? But I couldn't find the love anywhere else. So I, you know, sometimes love, that the term love can be a little, you know, elusive, right? So, but we all understand what compassion is, right? As well. So if you don't know what love is, try compassion for a little while. You know, compassion for yourself, compassion for your body, compassion for humanity, compassion for the planet, right? And extend that out. But also I was going to ask you if you could share a little bit about intention, right? Some people may not know what that looks like, to start your day off with intention. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Okay, so for me, starting my day with intention is taking those 10-15 minutes. I'll probably take longer sometimes because I love that space, is just to go inward. And for me, there is some words about gratitude for the day, and for things that, you know, have not even happened yet. So for I welcome and I open myself up to receive all that there is to receive from for my highest good. And that, you know, that includes the good, the bad, and the ugly, because even those things are there to teach me certain things. So I welcome everything that is there for me in that day. So there's gratitude. There's joy, you know, so I want to start my day with joy and thinking about something joyful. I'm at the stage where I can just bring up the emotion of joy and just feel joy and come from that place of, okay, you know, I'm ready for the day. Let's, you know, let's do it. Bring it on, you know. So gratitude, joy, thoughts for people in my life that are, you know, could be family, friends, people, you know, clients, some of my clients that I know that are going through some pretty intense times. There's thoughts for them, and sending all of my love from my heart to them, and giving them you know, holding a vision of them in their highest potential. So you know, so if somebody for example is depressed, then I'm thinking of them being happier in their lives. If somebody is out of a job, I'm thinking of them as, you know, having their most ideal job and doing what they're very passionate about. So I'm holding a higher vision for them despite where they are, so that they actually have room to grow into that place that I'm holding for them. And that's what we do as light workers. We're anchoring the light. We're anchoring the highest high vibrationary energies for the collective, for individuals on the planet, and so that everyone has room to grow into those higher frequencies on the planet. For me, there's gratitude. There's gratitude for Mother Gaia and everything from the kind of weather that, if it's a rainy day, of course, here in the Southern Hemisphere, we're in winter. So and for a rainy day, because, we need the rain, we need the water, for the wood that I burn in my wood fire that keeps me warm, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the food that I eat, and I put that intention right there at the beginning of the day, that it nourishes my body, and that all that is to be received from this food is for the highest good of my body. I'm grateful to the oneness of all there is, and for this very existence. Thank you that I can be here at this point in time, helping humanity in the best way that I can. Gratitude to my ancestors, because there's always acknowledgement of the ancestors, because I if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be who I am today. So gratitude to my ancestors, gratitude to my body, for being the amazing vehicle, of the divine parts of me that make it divine as well, and that it's healthy, and I'm youthing. I'm not getting older. I'm youthing.
Me too. Exactly. Same here.
Woo!
I was looking at myself earlier today. I'm like, I look really good. I'm so pretty.
Do. I was going to say that. You do, Alara. You look amazing.
Thank you. I am going to gain weight. I'm telling everybody right now, I'm going to gain weight this month, because my mom is feeding me like crazy, all sorts of sweets, all sorts of yummies. And I'm going to just, I'm going to allow it, and I'm going to receive it, because I know when I go back, I'm not going to get any of it. So I was like, I don't care. This month, I'm on vacation.
Absolutely. And why not? I mean, that's nourishment from the mother.
Yeah.
And so there again, gratitude for the people in your life, and my mum is 92 years old. I'm grateful for her presence in my life. I just had a close family member pass recently, and I've got to go to a funeral tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She lived her life the way that she wanted to, and I'm very happy for that. I know others probably think that that's a weird thing, but it's what we did in Lemuria. We celebrated a life. We didn't grieve, because when we're grieving, we're actually putting all that energy of our grief and sadness and it could be anger as well, for some people, against the one that's passed, because they've left and they did this and they did that, so we put all that into the ground when we bury them. But when there's a celebration of a life, it's like, wow, she had an incredible life. She lived it the way she wanted to live it. It was a great life. I'm so glad that she was part of my life for such a long time, and for almost 50 years of my life. So I'm grateful, and I found myself, I've ordered flowers at the florist for the graveside, and it really, when I'm there tomorrow, it'll be an honoring of her presence in my life, and that, I think that is a much better way of burying our the ones that have passed, and also the celebration that they're going home. When they get to the other side, there's a whole celebration on the other side for them too, because it's like this big welcome home.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's such a great way to look at it. It's a great perspective, and it's a much more empowering and a lighter perspective on things. So I love that.
Absolutely. And we're giving them that send off of joy and gratitude, and this honoring for having been here, for having anchored an energy on the planet, for for playing their part in everybody's life that they played. Thank you so much for being part of my life, because it would have been very different without you. So so there's this whole process. I know for other members of my family it's going to be different, but everyone's doing their own bit in their, everyone's doing the best that they can at this point in time, and it's quite a challenging time. I don't know how some of my other family members are coping in this world today, because I know I'm coping because I have tools. You know, those of us who are on the ascension path and are awake, we have tools to help us cope on a daily basis. But for those who don't have tools, and I can't imagine the depth of despair or you know, confusion, chaos, you know, all those things that they're feeling on the inside. How do they cope with that? It must be very difficult for them. And then therefore, again, you know, there's the compassion coming forward, you know, for reasons unknown to probably them and the rest of us. It's part of their soul agreement to not awaken at this point in time. But yeah, so you know, that's just how we're all playing our different parts on the planet today, and the situation is going to take as long as it takes. You know, people have asked me, how long is this going to go on for? It's, you know, that's like asking how long's a piece of string. It'll go on and until you know, all of humanity has gone through some level of change on this planet, and it won't be here a minute longer than that.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, you know, if you look at every day as a gift and as a choice, we chose to be here, and it is a gift to be here, to learn here, to experience, you know, our presence here in this reality, and to grow through our experiences. They're not always lovely. They're not always easy. I know they're challenging for sure, but it is something that we, you know, are choosing to experience and grow and learn from. And so I find, you know, having gratitude for the challenges, you know, because it shows us, you know, the challenges sometimes show us where we're triggered, show us where our focus is, you know, show us what some of our beliefs are, you know, that we're not aware of, right? And so when we have these challenges, they all come up, and then we can look at them, and then we can change them or release them or accept them, whatever it happens to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. There's a reason for the challenges. We don't grow when we're in our comfort zone.
Not at all. Well, yeah, it would be nice if we could, right? If we could grow while we're having fun, and, you know, sometimes we can, but
well, I think we'll learn that one as we keep going through the ascension process. We'll learn how to do that. We will learn we do not need to go through the suffering part in order to learn something. We will learn something with more ease and grace than we ever have before.
I think Buddha said suffering is optional. You know?
Yes, absolutely.
It's optional.
It is, but it's so embedded in our in the old programming. It's so embedded in the old programming. I mean, you know, if we look at some religions, the whole basis of them is suffering. You have to suffer in order to be something.
Yeah,
you know, there's a condition. Yeah, so
but I'm not choosing that. I'm just saying I'm not choosing. I've already done that. I've already done the suffering. I think, you know, earlier in this lifetime. So I'm done. Now it's like, you know, if we're talking about balance,
ease and grace,
you know, I've already done the suffering. Now it's time for the good stuff. So, like, bring it. Come on, let's go.
Absolutely. And this is all to, you know, the purpose of all of this is to bring us into our sovereignty, to allow us to see ourselves as the empowered co-creators that we are, and to understand that there is so much more to us than we think there is, you know, because a lot of people just think there's more, that all there is to them is the physical form and there's nothing else.
Yeah.
And that cannot be further from the truth.
But that's how some people are trained, whether it's cultures, religions, etc. So it's like, that's all they know.
It's their choosing too, because we were not in control of what we were taught as children, but it is our responsibility to change that programming when we're adults, if it's not something that serves us.
Yeah. And absolutely. Yep.
So that's where, you know, so now we can gracefully glide into the topic of the ego.
Yep. This will be fun.
And so The ego's been helping us all along. It's there to keep us safe. It's not a dirty word, and it's not something that we need to suppress and get rid of. We come into a new understanding of all the things around us in our world, and so we are coming into the new understanding about ego. It has a purpose, and it's been there all our lives, keeping us safe and making sure that we only do the things that we need to do. And now we are understanding that we need to create a balance between the ego and our higher self. There has to be a balance. It's not to be suppressed or gotten rid of completely, because it does have a purpose. And so it has had us identifying, with the outside world, with, our jobs, with our roles in society, like, mother, daughter, husband, wife, all those roles that we have in our society and cultures. And that we are only these physical bodies, because the ego doesn't know beyond the physical body. It doesn't know beyond what the rest of our being is. But we know that we are so much more than that. But we're locked into believing at this level of consciousness that we are only the physical body.
Yeah.
And so we need to break out of this old way of thinking and understand the I am multidimensionality of our beings, and that we are multidimensional beings of light, remembering our divinity. And to get to the next level, we need to begin to embody our multidimensional selves, to leave behind, the judgment, the criticism, the jealousy, the anger, the rage, frustration, the victim. So many of us are still in victim, so that we may step into the next level of our evolution and understand the way energy and consciousness resides in this physical form. And this is why so many are feeling out of sorts, because this is all being changed and up leveled and on an energetic level at the moment. And so people are going through the very physical experience of these tremendous upgrades that we're receiving at this point in time. People are feeling pain in the body, headaches, or all sorts of aches and pains. They're feeling exhaustion, and then on the other hand, there's the lack of sleep. There's negative thoughts, there's a stress, because what am I going to do with my life next? Everything's changed. Emotional pain, all those things that are coming up for humans at this moment. And as we talked about pain and suffering just a few moments ago, that's the ego controlling us to keep us safe, but at the same time keeping us from expanding into the true essence and the understanding of who we really are and how powerful, and stopping us from realizing how powerful we can be. So gratitude to the ego for keeping us safe, but let's create more of a balance between the ego that wants to keep us safe and the expansion of our consciousness that wants to go, fully into not being physical either. So that's the physical and the spiritual aspects of ourselves that we need to find balance with now. So the more we unlock and break out of this third dimensional personality that we have created for ourselves and move into our multidimensionality, embodying more and more of our high vibrational aspects, the more the constructs of the third dimensional reality around us will change to release us from these limitations of the lower frequencies that we all agreed to be a part of an experience.
Exactly.
So setting our intention to be ready and willing to remember our truth, that we are so much more than we think we are, and to remember more of our soul essence. And in that process, we're allowing ourselves to open up to the higher aspects of ourselves, and at the same time allowing ourselves to open to release. So we're receiving and we're releasing at the same time, releasing the limitations which have been holding us in the third dimensional reality construct for so long. And as this process continues to go on, it's going to get easier. I know this is sort of a big shock and trauma for a lot of people, this current process that we're in, because it's something that humanity hasn't experienced for a very long time. But there, as I said, there is a purpose to it. And as we gradually raise our vibration, we'll see more and more of that bigger picture, and we'll realize, oh yeah, that's what's happening. And I was of course, we're right smack bang in the middle of an eclipse season, by the way.
Yep.
So we
on
had an eclipse
Sunday.
Yeah, well, we had an eclipse on June 5, and now we're expecting another eclipse on June 21. And then the last one in this series, because when they happen in threes, you know that it's quite a powerful time of change. Then the third one in the series is on July 4th. So and there's no coincidence about those dates and where it's where it's hitting us and what parts of the world that's going to really be focusing on, because this is the solar eclipse coming up now on the 21st, and then we'll be followed again by another lunar eclipse. And just for a bit of information out there, did you know we have 6 eclipses in this year?
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So
normally,
it's intense.
It's very intense. Some years we only have 2. Some years we might have 4 or 5 even. We think, oh gosh, that's a really intense time. Well, this year we got 6.
Yeah. And not just that. I mean, I think as of in 2 days from now, I think 5 or 6 planets are going to be in retrograde as well. So it's intense. So if some of you are feeling intensities in your body, if things are coming up for you emotionally, mentally, so this is the time when you really want to use your tools. You really want to use your resources, your tools, get support if you need support, but definitely reach out.
Absolutely. Right. And particularly this time, by the way, this whole process more or less started towards the end of December, because the end of December last year we started with the first eclipse in that season, and then the second one was in early January. So this process that was started earlier on this year, that's actually going to continue until January 2021.
Yay. Yay.
And we have a really intense period within those 12 months, which is April to October. So of course we've just come in, we've just started the process. We've still got a few months to go, where we really are feeling the intensity, as you said, planets lining up. I spoke about this in one of my online classes late last year about what to expect in 2020, and it's literally, if you looked at an astrological chart from 2020 to 2040, 2/3 of the planetary lineups are happening in 2020. So I'm just trying to give you a picture of, what we're in for, why we're experiencing this, and that we have all agreed.
Yeah, and so if people are experiencing a lot of turmoil, personally as well as collectively, it makes sense. It's okay. Yes. So give yourself a break.
Absolutely. And remember, when planets complete cycles, and some of these planets are completing very long cycles. Cycles. There's a cycle, I think, with Pluto aligning up with some other planets, that is a 359-year cycle. So what that is bringing to completion an old cycle that started 359 years ago, which, by the way, coincided with the creation of the current financial system that we are living in at the moment. And it's bringing that to a completion and then starting a new cycle. So so we have new things, we have great changes coming up. So this is why we're feeling it so intensely, because it's cosmic. It's coming from the galaxy. It's coming from our own solar system, as well as everything being stirred up on the planet. So as above, so below, as within, so without. So it's all one. It's all in the oneness of all there is.
So it's totally understandable. Please be gentle with yourself.
And speaking about being gentle with yourself, when planets go retrograde, they're resting. So it's giving us an opportunity to rest. So this is where our self-love practice that I spoke about last time on your show, Alara, this is where the self-love practice comes into, really comes into the fore. It's a must. We cannot live without it anymore. It's the foundational building block of our spiritual journey. And they're the tools that we need to implement in our daily lives in order to get through these intense and challenging times.
And so, I use the word self-care, self-love, self-nurturing, self-acceptance, all interchangeably, but, use what works for you. But this really is about, you owning your truth and being the truth of who you are, right? So that's what it's really about. It's like, it's time to tap into who you are and embody your truth and live and walk your truth the best you can, right? But it comes, and self-love comes from being you. It just comes from being you, accepting you, loving you, honoring you, nurturing you, doing what's right for you. Right?
And for some people, let me just say, it's not something that happens overnight. It's a process. I talked about this on your show last time. It's an ever deepening process. It's not like, okay, I now have my full schedule of self-love, self-care, self-nurturing, and that's it. It's a dynamic process. It changes and shifts, and it's got to change and shift to adapt to the challenges that we have from the outside. And so it's got to change, it's got to move around, but it also has to go to deeper levels. We can't just be saying, I'm going out and treating myself to a piece of chocolate cake. It's got to go deeper than that. It's got to be an inward process, and whatever that looks like for you. But for me, I do some of my best work in the bathtub. So I was in the bath last night, and I got my candles and I got my peace and quiet, and and going inward, and doing what I need to do for my physical body as well as going inwardly. So and I found there are some days when I'm okay, I'm doing really well, and there are other days when I'm really feeling the pressure of what's going on around everything. So I'm adjusting to that. It's like, okay, I had a program to do today, and I can shift and change some of those things to give myself a bit more of a break in between everything. And that's what I'm going to do today, because that's what I need today. So we're in the now moment as well.
Exactly. So ask yourself, what do I need today? What do I need for myself today? Whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, what do you need? And when you ask, and you're not asking from a mental space, and I say this all the time in my own personal groups and stuff, you're asking from your heart, from your soul, from your core essence, the beingness of you. You're not asking from your mind and the ego. You're asking from your heart. What does it require? And that takes practice to hear and get used to that answer. But if you start to ask, you will get the answers, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've since I began my practice all those years ago, that's been my sole mission, is to get others to understand that it has to come from the inside. There's nothing that we can do that we can take from the outside and put it in And if we do, that's a temporary fix. It's like a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. And everything comes from the inside out. All your answers are on the inside. And as you've just said, it takes practice. You know, it may not work for you at first, but have patience, persevere with it, just sit with yourself. You know, people ask, as soon as I say the word meditation, people are like, oh, you know,
I can't do that. Yeah.
No, and
That's
it's
what
like,
people say.
well, you know, meditation's not sitting on the floor tying yourself up in knots. You know, to me, meditation means introspection. So then I thought, oh, maybe I should change my word and use introspection, because everyone's being triggered by meditation.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's going inward.
Yeah, it's just going in, talking to yourself, you know, tapping into who you are and connecting with that space instead of the mind, right? So it's just focusing on your heart space and focusing on who you are at the core being of who you are, not your mind.
Absolutely.
You know, the mind is great for some things, but it's not going to be great for giving you the guidance that you need.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like sweating hot now.
And in the world that was pre this pandemic, we were so busy outwardly. So, you know, we were busy looking at our phones and trying to cook dinner and take care of the kids and the family and work, and you know, it was so intense and distracted from the outside that we didn't have time to go inward. And now we've been given this time to go inward to, you know, some days introspection is too much going on. There's too much emotion, agitation inside. And it's just sit with that, sit in it, acknowledge it. It's there for a reason. It's telling you, not in words, but it's telling you through your feelings what's going on with your body. And so many people, you know, if you're not practiced in hearing words, people say, I don't hear anything, but your body is talking to you. It's talking to you through emotions. It's talking to you through cravings for certain food. You know, it's telling you, I need some of that nutrition. You know, it's telling you what it's missing. So this is, you know, this process of just sitting with yourself. And you know, introspection isn't always all blissful and, you know, wow, I'm really out there, man.
Nope.
It's, you know, sometimes it's sitting with those hard emotions of fear, anxiety, or rage, or, you know, whatever they are, they're uncomfortable. And if you're feeling uncomfortable, I would say that's great, because that's you noticing something about yourself and the uncomfortableness of it, and you can unravel that for yourself and have a look at it and honor it. You know, thank you for showing up and telling me, you know, which area of my life I need to do some work in, and then you know, and then transmuting it through love, through, you know, through acceptance, through the honoring and acknowledgement of it. You're transmuting it into the wholeness of your being, which is what I talked about before, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know, whatever it looks like. It's not always nice. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it's hard work. And personally, you know, when I've gone through some of my challenging moments, I would sit there and say, oh my gosh, this is harder than giving birth.
Yeah, there are some things that are definitely harder. Absolutely. And the thing is, you know, there's a famous saying, the only way around is through. And so, you know, this is not about letting go always of the emotion. You have to sit with it, feel it, and ask questions about it, you know, and sometimes you have to rage through it, you know, but really feel it so that you can see what is it underneath the actual emotion. What is that? Is that fear? Is that insecurity? Like, what is the actual trigger, right?
Yeah.
So how do you...
Yeah, so someone's asked that question, how do you sit with it and let it go? Well, I would like to change that phrase, let it go. I know we use it a lot, and I think I'm really trying to change that and to say transmute it, because we don't actually let it go. It isn't kind of, you know, oh, I'll let it go, like you would throw away a piece of rubbish and, you know,
Yeah.
and it's gone miraculously.
You have to
You know,
transmute it or transform it. It's an energy, right?
yes, yeah,
It has to be
absolutely.
changed in some way. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you sit with it and let it go? Well, it's just like I'm saying, you find some quiet time, even if it's only 10, 15 minutes. And you have to work out, when can you do that? When is the part of your day when you're least likely to be disturbed? And then you take that time to do it. So for some people, maybe with young families, it could be early in the morning when they're more morning people anyway, and they can get up, you know, 10, 15 minutes earlier. For some people, they're more evening people, night people, and so it's like after everyone's gone to bed, there's peace and quiet in the house, and that's when they can do this process. And for some people, it's in the middle of the day, you know, because maybe the kids have gone to school and they've got, you know, a certain time during the day when they can sit quietly. But whatever time of the day that is for you, work it out and then actually sit quietly with yourself. So, you know, switch off your phone so you're not being distracted. Give yourself that 10, 15 minutes. It's really important. It doesn't have to be half an hour or an hour even. You know, 10, 15 minutes is sufficient. And just sit quietly. Sit noticing how you breathe. What is your breath like? Are you still breathing from the chest in that fight or flight response? And if you are, then start to take deep breaths. The more you pick yourself up on breathing deeply, the more your body's going to get used to breathing deeply. And when you breathe deeply, you know, when you sit and take 3 deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth, you notice an instant change in your body. Suddenly all that chaos and unsettledness that's going on around you starts to settle down. You start to center and ground and find that center of stillness within. And then you ask yourself, how am I feeling? Because, you know, we've been so distracted on the outside, we haven't even bothered to ask ourselves, how are you today? We ask other people, and a lot of the time it's like this throwaway comment, isn't it? Oh, how are you? You know, in passing, and people don't even have a chance to answer. They just go, oh yeah, fine.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't mean anything, does it? You know, that response doesn't mean anything, and your question didn't mean anything if you're not actually taking the time to stay with somebody for a few moments and really ask them, how are you today? You know, and so this is ask yourself, how do I feel? So, okay, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling fearful, or, you know, and it's okay. All right, I acknowledge I'm feeling fearful today. What is the fear around? And then where it could start to point to a particular part in your body. You know, so where are you holding the fear in your body? You know, that might be the first question you can ask. For a lot of people, it's around the solar plexus area. Yeah, we live with this energy in our solar plexus. And it's like, okay, so what is that about? When did I begin to feel like that in that part of my body? You know, what happened that I would feel? And, you know, for some people, they've lived with it all their lives. So they would have to, it's not something that happened recently. It's something that might have started way back in their childhood, and they've just lived their whole lives with this energy in their solar plexus. So this is, you know, finding out, it's unraveling. I kind of, for me, when I started this process 15, 20 years ago, it was like, okay, there's this emotion inside of me. It's some kind of uneasiness, some kind of feeling of anxiousness. Okay, I call it a thread, and then I'm following the thread. Where did it come from? What started this inside of me? Because I'm only just becoming aware of it now, you know. And some of those things inside of me started back in childhood, you know, as far back as I can remember, you know. And then this is this is how we start to unravel what is going on for us. You know, if we were feeling angry, you know, why am I feeling angry? When did I start to feel angry? What triggered me to feel angry? You know, and just sit with that. It's okay. So I'm feeling angry because this so-and-so said something in the office the other day, and I'm still holding that anger around that. Okay, what is the anger about? Is that my truth? You know, is what was said my truth? And is the anger telling me, no, that's not my truth? My truth is something completely different. Or maybe some personal boundary was overstepped, and my body's telling me a boundary's being overstepped by this pushback of the anger. You know, so there's all these little fine intricacies that, you know, we can feel into and go back into. And then look, you know, for example, I'm going to use this for example, if it was something from childhood that you can trace back all the way to childhood, then you can sit in that quiet time that you have and envision yourself as that child going through whatever it was that was going through, creating that within you. And then you can hold and love that aspect of yourself. And I'm going to say something really weird, like, you know, like we're not weird already. You know, if I think back, and this is what tells me time's in a loop, when I think back to some of those moments in my childhood that were very difficult for me, and then I think back some of the dreams that I had, you know, I can recall some of the dreams that I had, and I think, wow, that was going on in the dream. And that was telling me that, you know, often my dreams were voices. It was just somebody speaking to me. And it was telling me everything's okay. I'm safe. I'm here to stay. I'm, you know, this or that, you know, to help me feel better about what was going on. And then I'm thinking now as an adult, I'm thinking, wow, that was going on then. So is that me in the loop of time, going back and telling myself and healing that aspect of myself?
Right. Yeah.
I hope that's making sense, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what we do, you know, because we are these multidimensional beings. This is not linear time. Linear time is a third dimensional construct, and a way to try and work out, you know, what is going on. So we think it's linear, but it's not. Time's not linear. Time's multidimensional, and it's in a loop.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's so true. Then Destiny has a question as well, or a comment. I've been feeling a lot of fear related to not feeling safe or protected in the root chakra and the sacral chakra, and in the throat chakra, there's lots happening there too.
Yeah, well, of course, the base chakra is shifting. So the energy of the base chakra was about survival, and the whole of humanity is moving out of survival into thriving and abundance. That's the new energy in the base chakra. So of course, as we feel the changes going on in the different parts of our body, we're going to feel uneasy because we're so used to it. It's been there, you know, since the fall of Atlantis.
Right.
You know, yeah. So that's why, that's the uneasiness. And yes, the sake, you know, all okay. If I'm always a big picture person, if it's true, and it is, that the energy is shifting on the planet, that we're getting so much cosmic help from the other species in the galaxy, they're all sending us, you know, the highest potential for us to expand into. And the core of the planet is changing, which it is, and that means that our sun is also changing, and that we are also, our galaxy is also in this part of space, because, you know, we have the center of the galaxy, and then we've got our little solar system on the end, and we're rotating around the center of the galaxy, right? We've been in 2012, we were directly aligned with the center of the galaxy, and now we're moving out of that alignment. The last 18 years of the precession of the equinoxes, we're moving out in the last 18 years of the precession of the equinoxes, we're actually finding ourselves in a portion of space that has some different, and scientists would call it radiation, but in actual fact it's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And this energy, this different energy, is directly affecting our sun, which is doing a wonderful job of translating it into such a form that when it radiates towards our earth, the magnetic grids around the earth are receiving it. And then the magnetic grid speaks to the crystalline grid, which is an etheric grid, which is an artificial construct, which is put there by the Pleiadians. And the crystalline grid speaks directly to humans. So there's this message that has come from the cosmos, and it's come via our sun being translated into a form onto our planet that humans can understand. So our planet is shifting and we're shifting with it. And folks, our chakras cannot stay the same. The frequency of our chakras are changing. If everything else around us is changing, how can the chakras not be changing? So we have new chakras coming online. Instead of the 7 main ones, we've now got 12, because 12 is the universal number. We have the frequency of each chakra is changing, therefore the color of the chakras are changing. And being a practitioner in sound, I'm so aware of this when there are sounds and frequencies made from the old knowledge of the old construct, and that we have to make different sounds, and that different frequencies are going to be resonating with our new frequency chakras. Okay, so this, the whole energetic system is being changed as well. Our nervous system is being upgraded as well so that our bodies can take on more light in the cells. So of course the nervous system is being affected, which is why we're feeling, I like this word, combobulated.
Combobulated. It's a word. I've used it. Yeah.
I love it. my some days my husband's asked, what's going on for you today? And I just say, I'm feeling combobulated today. I'm just giving myself some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I need to say. And he's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, he'll take a step back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, give us some space, which is what I did last night. I said, I'm going to have a bath. And that's the sign, like, okay, don't talk to me, don't interrupt me.
Yeah. Good. Awesome.
Leave me to my time. I need my own space.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You do. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. We do. We need our own space, our own time. Even if we're, living with other people in the same house, we do need our own space. We're not joined at the hip. We're two individual people, even though we've agreed to share our lives under one roof. And we need to give each other space. We can't, we're human. We're going through this intense time. And of course, it's just natural for us to, it's easy to just explode over, the family members, because we know them and we love them so much.
Yeah.
But, that's such a dysfunctional way. How do we, I don't, people might be amazed, but my husband and I don't have arguments. We don't raise our voices to each other. Like he noticed something a few days ago within me, and he said, what is going on for you today? And I don't go, at him. My words are, I'm feeling combobulated, because I love that word. I've told him that. I've told him this is how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm one of those that is not sleeping during the night. So I've thrown out the whole idea of getting 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm sleeping as many hours as I can. And because my physical body needs the rest. But if I'm up after 4 hours sleep, then that's what's going on for me. I accept that. And if my body requires more sleep during the day, then I'm sure I'll be able to find some time where I can take a little power nap and catch up.
Exactly.
But, I'm throwing out old ideas, old programming. So.
And that's all a part of self-love. You know, the
It is.
throwing out the beliefs and patterns and so on, taking time for yourself when you need to, you know,
Yeah.
recognizing that I'm feeling combobulated, so this is a good time for me to step back and take a bath or whatever, right? So that's all part of that self-love, self-care, self-appreciation, etc.,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Honoring what my body is telling me. Like today, okay, I'm feeling combobulated. What is it? Is it something that's actually triggering me? Am I actually feeling something going on the planet? Is it an influx of energy coming in? What's going on for me? You know, and I might remind everyone as well that because we've been so busy pre this this time, and
Mm-hmm.
then we've been given this time to rest. If you're feeling tired, exhausted, go check out your adrenals, because it could be adrenal fatigue that you're going through because of the busyness that we're all in,
Yeah.
and now we're
Before.
not
Yeah.
so busy. Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and our body needs to catch up. The body needs to catch up, and as I said, the nervous system is being affected. And so on a physical level, and of course we've got the chakras that are changing frequency, and everything's changing and coming into alignment with the 12, the universal number.
I love
So
it.
yeah, I know it's all good. It's all good. I know it feels
It's all good.
uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
we don't like feeling uncomfortable. Yeah, because then, you know, something's wrong if I'm not comfortable. But to me, it's like, okay, so I'm not feeling comfortable today. That's great. There's change
There's change.
happening
Yeah.
inside of me. Woo! Bring
Exactly.
it on.
There's a shift happening within. Awesome. Yeah. And what else is possible? Yeah. I love it.
Oh, I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
Exactly. So I know that we're going to do that process, right? But
Yeah.
which I'm really looking forward to. But before we do the process, I just want to share the special offer this time around. It's really a simple offer, but for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. Those of you who are not, you can go to alara.at/show/Maya6. And basically it's a 1 hour personal session with Maya and a 15-minute personal Gong sound bath MP3. Maya, we didn't even talk about your personal Gong sound bath MP3s or what a personal session with you looks like. So let's talk about that.
Okay, so the 1 hour personal session, bring your stuff.
Bring your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready and willing to help you deal with your stuff, you know, to help you see what's going on, to help you implement some changes in your life. You know, I'm always suggesting how we can change things, you know, whether that's on a physical level or an energetic level. Of course, during the personal session, I'm speaking light language and helping you to bring in some of those high frequency, high vibrational frequencies through the light language to enable you to upgrade more,
Yeah.
with more grace and ease. You don't have to go through the whole suffering thing. I'm done with that.
Totally done. Yeah.
Yeah, with grace and ease, we're going to move through these changes, and so light language, and yeah, suggestions and coaching around around some things that you can do in the physical and the spiritual, changing up some practices. So I delve in deep. I speak to your higher self. When you book a session with me, I'm always tuning into your higher self long before we actually get online.
Mm-hmm.
And I start working with you long before that. And so I've coupled the 1 hour personal session with the personal Gong sound bath. As you know, Alara, I always offer this, and it's one of my favorite things to do. It's what my soul is here to do.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And again, through sound, I'm a Gong sound bath practitioner. Through the gongs, through toning and light language, I give you I create a 15-minute personal Gong sound bath track. So it's tailored completely to your needs. And we'll talk about all of this in your personal session, and then I'll go off and create your personal track. And this is a 15 minutes of something that you can listen to on a daily basis. Some of my clients listen to it on a loop or during the night. They just put their earphones in and listen on a loop all night long as they sleep. So it really goes in deep. I've had clients who have listened to their tracks for a while and have left them and then come back to them after a while and rediscover new things. So what I'm actually doing is I'm tuning into your soul, because I work with sound. So the frequencies of your soul come through as sounds, and I'm then giving voice to those sounds and messages from your soul back to you. That is, in a nutshell, really what the personal gong sound bath is. So that's why it's so personal and unique to each individual. You are hearing the song of your soul played back to you.
That's so beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I love that.
Me too. I love doing these. It's one of my most favorite things to do. So
yeah. And so can people bring like lots of questions to the personal session?
Absolutely. As I said, bring your stuff, bring your questions, bring your issues, bring yourself, you know, the whole kit and caboodle. I'm ready to take it on. I'll let
Awesome.
you, I'll you know, try and help you make sense of it and help you move up to the next level.
Awesome. So that is available. This personal session with the Gong sound bath track is available at alara.at/show/Maya6. And this personal session with Maya and the personal Gong bath soundtrack is 111. So it's a really good deal. Really good. You know, Maya's offering you guys a really big discount at this time because she knows how, you know, it's really needed right now. The support is really needed. And the Gong sound bath track will support you continuously as you move forward. So the personal session will support you as well as the track. So please do take advantage of that. Again, that's available at alara.at/show/Maya6. All right, so are we ready for our wonderful process that we've been wanting to do since the beginning of the call?
Yes, absolutely. Woo!
Awesome. Great.
Okay, so let's get comfortable and let's close our eyes and take that deep cleansing breath. Just breathing in through the nose, right down into the abdomen, and exhaling through the mouth. Just letting that breath fall out as you take another deep breath in. And with your exhale, just start to bring up anything that's from the inside and just breathing it out, just giving yourself some space on the inside. And then another deep breath in. And anything that is left over, any residue of anything that needs to be let go of at this point in time, just breathe it out, giving yourself some space and noticing yourself as you get into your natural rhythm of breathing. Just noticing how you feel, still taking those deep breaths. And just notice that settling down within you as you find that center of stillness. Shin dari ki shuho ain ka au tum ho na e a pach no rakiane e shuhun te a rakiana au a he tun shum wa e ka ho. Just take a deep breath into that and just breathe in those light frequencies. Just allowing every cell in your body to take in the frequencies. Tumhohia nakia rakia aun to shugunumi ariki te aun. Shahari ne ein. Just take a deep breath. And just notice how you feel on your physical level, on your mental level. You still have thoughts coming in. Ask them to just stay to one side as you give yourself a few moments, and then you'll get back to them. Notice how you feel emotionally. And notice how you feel spiritually. And just drop down into your heart, into your beautiful heart space. Bring your awareness to that part of your body. Koru I anaha shikin, tu humau rakiane e, tu haha e shake aun. And notice again how you feel at this deeper level of your being. And while you're in your heart space, I'd like you to remember, it can be something from the recent past or something from the distant past, but remember a time that you found challenging in your life. And I want you to see yourself at that time in your life, standing in front of you. And ask this aspect of yourself, does it have a message for you? Does it need to say something to you? And then listen quietly. And now step closer to this aspect of yourself and hold it. Give it a big hug. Tell it how much you love it. Tell it that it is safe, that you will get through this. That you will be there for it, holding it, supporting it, that it is not alone. And just like you would hold a little baby while it's crying and crying and crying, and you would comfort it and you would talk to it quietly, maybe even sing to it, reassure it that everything is fine. So you would hold this aspect of yourself, loving it, just being with it, holding it. And this process, you may notice, could be instant for you, or it may take a few days. And during the course of the time that it is with you, you will notice that it prompts you for your attention if you are distracted during the course of your day. So just bring your thoughts immediately to that aspect. Notice that it is there, that it is needing your attention, and show it your love, your patience, your compassion, your understanding, your acceptance, your honoring of this aspect. Because if it were not for this aspect of you, you would not be the person that you are today. Ko rani shehe na o tungha e akai na o tera e shehe a pach nena ke shehe a horokuni. Just take a deep breath into that. Sho hai na o harakine e tuhuma kiashe hai ne te e o ruku mahe a sho ne u. Just breathing in those frequencies as you're holding on to this aspect of yourself. And you hold it for as long as it needs you to hold it. And once you reach that point of transmutation, transformation, you will notice that that aspect is no longer there. Why? Because you have reintegrated it into the wholeness of your being. So that part of you that was in separation is no longer in separation. It is in unity with you, in the oneness of your divinity, of your being. Shukura kia ne e tuhai ma'o kushene e namake aintera shoheana huma ki e ahun. Well done. You are all so amazing. Just take a deep breath into that. Allow whatever emotions are coming up for you, allow them, honor them, give gratitude for them. Because if it were not for these aspects of yourself, you would not be able to go to the next level of your evolution. Toshe arakine e no ho ai na ho harake e aho sho rakeheni. You are always loved, so loved beyond anything that you can imagine. You are always supported, and you are never alone. We are one. And just take a deep breath into that. And being very gentle with yourself, open your eyes and become fully present once again.
Wow. Wow. I'm like sweating buckets, and it's like, oh, I didn't even know what was going to happen. That was amazing. It was just like, yeah, amazing. That was so awesome. Ah.
Thank you.
How is everybody doing? I'm still like processing, to be honest. I'm like sweating buckets. I'm like processing. Ah, yeah, I'm buzzing. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Buzzing, but also like at the same time, I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like I'm glowing more, you know?
More than you usually are.
Yeah, I feel like I'm glowing even more, you know? So it's like, yeah, that was good. That was good.
Well, that's what we do. We're here to hold more light. So you've just had all of you've just had an influx of light energy into your bodies. So
yeah, exactly.
it's shifting. It'll shift and change things. The integration process will continue. So that's what's actually activating your divine human template, is the more that we reintegrate these different aspects of ourselves, parts of ourselves that are angry, parts of ourselves that are grieving, parts of ourselves that feel violated, all those aspects, parts of ourselves that feel happy and blissful, invite them all in and embrace them and love them and hold each part of yourself. Sometimes I can do a group hug with all the different aspects of me, and sometimes it's just an individual that comes forward, and it's like, okay, this is what I'm focusing on at the moment. So that's something that everyone can do, on a daily basis, just checking in with yourself and, as I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly, whatever it is, embrace it. Letting go of the judgment of all these aspects. They just are, they're part of you, and they're in separation. So when we bring them back into the oneness of our being, then there's a complete shift in our being, where we're also going to see that we don't get triggered on that level anymore, because that part's reintegrated. It's no longer in separation, it's in oneness.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like, iPhone says tingling. Yes, my aura is definitely flowing. Yeah. I needed that. And that's the thing, is like the aspect of me that came forward was not what I was expecting. Because when you said bring up something from your past, like, oh God, there's so many different things that, that I could choose from, right? So
where do I start?
Exactly. We're like, which one? Hello. So like I did bring one up, and then when I asked, like how she was feeling, etc., it all came out, what she was feeling, and it's like, oh wow, which I get it, and then it was just so beautiful. It's such a wonderful process. I love that, and I think it's something that we can all do on a regular basis, just to, again, it's about loving ourselves, appreciating ourselves, knowing that we are never alone and that we are always supported by ourselves. Like, if nothing else, we are supported by ourselves if you allow yourself to support you, right? So that this is what that was, and it's like, it was so nice. I like it.
It's a simple process, but it's a powerful process. Do not underestimate the power of that process just because it's so simple. It is reintegrating all those parts of us that are in separation, which is the work that we need to be doing right now.
And that separation is really, the judgment that we have of ourselves, and we all do. We've all judged ourselves at some point. We all do, constantly. I've gotten better.
We all have. We all have, and we're all works in progress. That one.
Yeah, exactly. Works in progress. So I'm still working on it. But when I touch myself, when I'm aware of something, then it's like, oh yeah, interesting. Then I can change it, right? So it's the awareness piece. And I love something that you said earlier. I just wanted to bring that back to, for a second. And it's part of, not multitasking all the time. We really need to disentangle ourselves from, everything around us and just be with us for a few minutes, right? And so even like during that process, I know some people might have been doing other things at the same time. But if you can honor yourself by just being and doing that one process, or just being and sitting with yourself for 5 to 10 minutes, that's wonderful, because, we've all been doing the multitasking for so long, and our energy's been scattered, everywhere. And now it's time to pull it all back within us and focus on us, right?
Yeah. I'll give you an example of that. My mum's 92 years old, and you know, at that age we've got one foot on in the physical, one foot in the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And she says stuff to me that, you know, resonates with me a lot. And she said to me the other day, I love talking to you because when I talk to you, you're not doing other things. You're actually just sitting there and you're listening to what I have to say. And even though she's 92 and she's completely unconscious, she's not awake, you know, she holds this tremendous light from which I'm grateful for, because she's the channel through which, the physical channel through which I came into this world. So there's a lot of honoring, even though, you know, in the time that I have been in her life, we've not always seen eye to eye on things. And it just seems that maybe because I'm getting older and she's older, and maybe we've mellowed out, or maybe we've just become wiser, I don't know, but we're really resonating with each other. But she noticed that, as opposed to other family members who call her up with a quick hello, but she said in the background she can hear they're doing other things.
Yeah.
And she feels very different talking to me and talking to other family members, because I'm actually fully present for her. I'm listening to what's going on. And also I'm working energetically with her, but she doesn't know that.
Right. Yeah.
And I know she'll never listen to this interview. So she, you know, she notices the difference. You know, she notices the difference from when someone's fully present and listening.
Yeah.
To when it's just, oh, hey, how you going? I'm just checking in with you, making sure everything's all right, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye now. You know, that kind of call, as opposed to, how are you doing today, Mum? And so then I end up with conversations with her that go into real depth, because she's aware that I'm taking the time out of my day to sit with her and to talk with her, and I'm genuinely interested in what she has to say, no matter how out there it is. And you know, she feels, her words were, I feel safe with you.
Yeah, and she feels seen with you and heard with you.
Yeah, and honored.
Yeah.
You know, so even though that, you know, the relationship has been challenging, you know, throughout the course of my life, you know, we can still find, at this point in time, we can start to find this common ground, this common honoring, this, you know, she feels safe at her age. You know, she's got, you know, she's fully there. She's not, you know, in a nursing home or anything. She still lives at home by, you know, in her own home.
Yeah.
She's still there tending her garden.
Yeah.
And she notices the difference. And I think if we took the time to ask someone, you know, how are you today? You know, is there something going on for you? Then that would make the world of difference for others. But, you know, that practice starts with ourselves first.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Like, yeah, can we do that for ourselves too? You know, like do that for yourself first, and at the same time do it for others. And that's the thing. A lot of times we put ourselves last, you know, and we give preference to other people, everybody else. But talk to yourself. How are you doing? Ask yourself, how are you today? What's going on? What's coming up for you? You know, you meaning
exactly.
you, the being, you know?
Yeah, because if you're not doing it for yourself, then you can't be more for others if you are not more for yourself. You know, you can only be at the same level for others as you are for yourself. So this is where this relationship with yourself begins to deepen, when you actually take the time to ask yourself, how are you going today? What's going on for you?
Yeah. Great wisdom. Yeah, it is that it is that simple, but it's something that we get distracted from, right?
Yeah. Well, because it is simple, and we think, oh no, that couldn't possibly work. Yeah. Because it's too simple, right?
Yeah, what could possibly happen from that? What could possibly come from that?
Yeah.
A lot.
And we have this wonderful tendency to overcomplicate things. We need ceremony, and we need, you know, I need to, you know, to light candles and incense and have my crystals and, you know, this and that. And it can only happen at the full moon, or,
Yeah.
when I'm standing upside down on my head, or, whatever it is.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have to be that. And I think the time for ceremony is also to be left in the old energy. The more we're in the now moment, the more we're asking, how do I feel? The more the less a need there is for ceremony. Although there is a time and place. I think, I still do my ceremony in the bathtub.
Yeah.
With my candles and just everything's right. But in these other times, I'm like, okay, what's going on? I've just noticed a shift in my energy. What's going on here? So so I'm processing and being aware of myself. And this is the awareness of self is also at the same time the expansion of consciousness.
Absolutely. And your expansion of consciousness is going to start from the awareness of yourself. If you do not have the awareness of yourself, where are you going to expand into or out to? It's like it all starts with the self and being aware of who you are, what you're feeling, how you're feeling, all of that. And
Absolutely.
Again, it's a process. So please get that. It's a process. It's not, you don't have to do it all in one day.
It takes time. It just takes time. And that's okay. It takes as long as it takes, because some people are going to do some parts really quick and others are going to take their time. And we're all individual. Let's leave the old paradigm of competition behind as well, and continually comparing ourselves to others, because we can't. We're all individual. We're all unique.
Yeah.
There's no way. And it's not our purpose to be the same as others. It's our purpose to have experiences and to experience them in our own way. So everybody is experiencing the same experience, the same event in different ways. But honor that, because each one is holding a part of the puzzle. And when we come together in the oneness, then it all comes together to form the bigger picture.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you. And I just want to say again, really quickly, if you'd like to work more deeply with Maya, you can do so by checking out her package, which is available at alara.at/show/Maya6. Take advantage of the personal one-to-one session, plus the 15-minute Gong sound bath track, which is individual to you. And like Maya was just doing in this process, she's going to be doing light language, working with your higher self, bring all your questions, whatever you got going on, and, work with Maya, get that support. And, she will assist you in taking you to the next level of what it is that you are requiring, needing, asking for, right?
Absolutely. Bring
Awesome.
it on.
Bring it on. It's all good. It's all good. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Maya. I know we went a little bit longer, but thank you, thank you, thank you. That was wonderful. I love the process. Please, everyone, do that process again for yourself, okay? Pick a different time. I mean, we have so many things that we can work on, right? So pick something different. I loved it. That was great. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Maya. Thank you, everyone. And you can now go take a nap, Maya, if you want. A little morning nap before you start your day.
Well, thank you to you, Alara. I've always thoroughly enjoy being on your show and talking to you and to your listeners as well. Thank you for all your comments and your questions. It's been another amazing experience, and my deepest love and gratitude to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye.